Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Doing great, doing great.
All right, ladies, welcome to Embrace Clarity and Transform Your Life. I am going to give everyone a few minutes to come into the event. We had quite a few people registered for today. However, in the meantime, you will see on your screen a QR code to enter the event. So this workshop is very interactive. We are going to have our theme or topic for today, and I'm going to have different prompts or polls and questions as we go along. So if you can enter the event, please do so. If you're on your phone, that may be a little bit difficult. However, you can still participate by responding to the questions in the comment box if you find you have some trouble actually signing in. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
And then the king crab is $31.
And I'm going to ask everyone to please mute your mic as well. Okay. Here is the link, just in case you are unable to scan the QR code right now. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining, if you were unable or are unable to join the event from the QR code, it's okay. You can just respond to the questions that we have within the comment box as we go on. So this workshop, Embrace Clarity and Transform Your Life, is actually one of two that I host on a monthly basis. The first happens on the first Sunday of the month, and it's an open coaching session where you get to come and ask questions about any and everything that is on your mind and heart and so on. And this event is going to be more so of a training and interactive type of workshop. So our theme for this month was actually a metaphorical haunted house, where the haunted house represented challenges that we as women experience in our lives, from self-doubt to overwhelm, lack of clarity, or let's say uncertainty and confusion, complacency, and self-doubt. Did I mention that one already? I may have. What are they? Fear of the unknown. That's the one that I'm missing. So I love this analogy and the topic because not only are these challenges something that really comes up a lot for us and in a way haunts us, especially if it cripples us so much that we are unable to reach our goals. But as an interior designer, I also love the idea of a haunted house. And so we may also be in environments or spaces that kind of resemble that as well, where we feel like they don't support our goals or who we're trying to be. So that's what we're going to be diving deeper into today. I am going to stop sharing for a minute just because for some reason I cannot see you as I'm sharing. So I'm going to keep trying to do it, but tech is going to, or Zoom is going to do what Zoom does. And if it does not work out, then we will keep it moving. Someone's asking if I can see them. I can't see anyone. I see Carla. I see Nicole. Hi, ladies. All right. So I have 4 people in the event. I'm assuming that if you are not in the event already, that is because you are unable to join the event.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm not sure if you heard the instructions, Ms. Josie, but if you are unable to join the event, if you're having troubles, as you see the questions come up on your screen, you can just reply to them in the comment box on the actual Zoom.
All right.
All right. So we're going to get started. So our first question is actually pretty easy. Just let me know how you're feeling today. And as you're doing that, we're going to talk a little bit about our theme and the haunts, the 5 haunts that I listed. And I wanted to start off by giving you a definition of the words haunts. I've never actually said this word. I don't know if any of you have ever said that word ever in your life in a full sentence. But as I started to kind of talk to myself out loud or practice to talk about what we were going to do today, I'm like, this word sounds so weird on my tongue, right? So I've literally been saying haunt for like 3 days in the most weirdest way. And Miriam says that a haunt as a noun is a place habitually frequented. But I also wanted to bring in the verb form of the word haunt because I thought it actually helps us to make a connection between what's actually happening in our lives when we're experiencing these emotions that we're talking about. And so the verb form says to visit or inhabit or to have a disquieting or harmful effect on. And I love that both of these definitions actually show you that we are the ones that are visiting these haunts. So the haunt isn't actually happening to you. It's a decision that we're making. And so we decide whether or not we want to occupy that space. And the word inhabit is key here because as we go on in this workshop, and one of the techniques that we talk about is really going to shed some light on how we begin to create identities around the challenges that we experience if we fall into a certain level of belief with them. So when I first posted the original introduction to the series, I had a really interesting comment on Facebook, and I wanted to share it with you all because it actually gave me new perspective on this topic. So Cheryl says, I love how you named it Haunted House. As with haunted houses, there is so much that we don't want to look at and face. Thanks for this post. And I think that what Cheryl is saying is 100% true, right? Typically, when we are experiencing something that is uncomfortable to us, we don't normally, our first reaction isn't to face it head on, right? That's why we have heard of our trauma responses or our subconscious responses of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So it made me actually think of me in my old house, which we could literally probably say is a haunted house because things are always bumping in the middle of the night. I'm a single girl. So I've been living here for maybe about 8 or 9 years now, but I've been single maybe 6 or 7 years. And so when things happen at nighttime, it feels like I'm in a totally different world. So if something happens in the kitchen, if something falls, if something bangs really loud and I can't actually see what's happening and what the source of it is, I literally fly to my bedroom and put the covers over my head. This is no lie. I also have like a motion sensor light in the hallway. And there shouldn't be anyone in the house but me, right? But sometimes this motion sensor light in the hallway goes off and I am not the person in the hallway. Do you know what I do? Go run to bed, and you will not see me until the sun actually starts to peak and I can see everything in my house where I feel like it's safe, right? So in that situation, I'm definitely not confronting what's happening because I know I wouldn't be able to handle it anyway if it was something really dangerous. So my trauma response tends to be flight. So this is what I responded to Cheryl. I said, that is so true. But often we do finally face them. Often when we do finally face them, we find that we are fully capable of overcoming them all along. Just like working out, learning how to identify our emotions and process them is a skill you learn. It's not easy at first, but the more you do it, the bigger the gains. And when we don't do it at all, nothing changes. And so one of the thoughts that has actually helped me as I've learned to build the skill of identifying my thoughts and processing my emotions is that I will survive all of the feelings. I have survived them to date. And it's very unlikely that any of them are actually going to take me out. So hopefully that thought helps you as well. I actually keep it in my thought bank that I refer to when things are not going so hot and I need to get some inspiration and motivation. And that really grounds me. sometimes we think that we have to create thoughts that make us feel really giddy and excited, right? Especially when we are in places that feel really negative or just not a great place at all, right? You're just feeling all of the words. You're just feeling all of the emotions that really make you contract, right? And we think that in order to get over that emotion, we have to jump to the opposite side of the spectrum where we really need to create something that feels almost fictitious, right? Or inauthentic. Like we have to go in order, it means if we think that in order to get over something, we have to feel very good. However, I really like to ground into very neutral thoughts and emotions instead of jumping to something that I really don't believe or doesn't feel authentic to me. So thinking to myself, I will survive all the feelings helps me feel that grounded energy that I want to feel. It makes me feel really neutral. So I'm going to share it with you. So we are going to go to the next question. Everyone's feeling pretty good. That's great. I'm feeling really good too. Even though today was pretty spicy to me, in the last hour, I've had myself a glass of Pinot, started to get ready for this event, and I'm so excited. Yes, that's why you're my girl. Cheers. And just being here with you has also grounded me and created a presence for me. And so I have started to transfer my emotions from whatever was happening earlier today into this present moment. So I'm glad you guys are feeling good. I'm glad you're here. What I first want you to do is to identify the area of your life you want to transform the most. This is typically where I start with all of my clients that I work with, because even if there are multiple areas that you wouldn't rate at a level 10, picking one, and as you'll see as we walk through kind of the strategy or process that we are going to talk about today, picking one and increasing that one, sticking with that one, creating the consistency and improving it, up leveling it to 10 will actually start to also improve the other areas of your life as well. So I just want you to pick one. Now, for some reason, this thing wouldn't allow me to do all the options that I want. So some of them are together. So personal development and health are together, and family, friends, and romance are together under the relationships bucket. I'm waiting for a top hat. Who has a top hat?
Top hat.
Yes, as their icon. I have a duck, a stiletto, a bear, a top hat, an angel, and someone who's just said, listen, we don't have any emotions at all right now. Sam.
I'm new to this, so I have no idea which one I picked. And I don't have an emoji there, I don't think. And I may have picked the wrong choice, just trying to figure out how it worked. So
that's all right. If you did pick the wrong one, if you think you did, just write in the comments which one you actually wanted to have on there.
sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to move on. Samantha or Sammy, you're the top hat, just so you know in the future.
I'm the top hat? Really?
Yeah.
What?
Look at all the other names.
Oh my gosh. No, I should be the bear or a bunny.
Okay, it's not even showing me anymore, so that's that. We'll see on the next slide who's who. All right, so we have a lot of career women in the room. Everyone's working on creating impact in the world, showing up, using their abilities and their capabilities and skills and gifts and all the things. I love that. Others want to improve their physical environment, their self-image. With all of these, you are in the right place. I'm going to mute everyone just in case you don't know how to do it for yourself, and you can unmute if you have a question or comment throughout the hour. And I actually thought I had a question on here about which fear response you typically default to, but it's not here. So I want you to write in the comments which one you think that is your go-to subconscious fear response when you are feeling challenged with something that you are not necessarily comfortable with. So those default responses are fight. This is where you become very abrasive. You are going to make sure that the person knows or the thing knows that you are right and they are wrong. You may bully your way through the things. This is typically actually my trauma response, right? My friend always likes to say, I don't know who would actually get into an altercation with you, but that is a very tall order because I am so like litigious. I am very strategic and thorough. And by the time I have read you your rights, it's over for you. Flight is self-explanatory, right? You're like, can we please stop immediately? Let's stop talking about this thing, doing this thing. I've got to go. Freeze is where you feel like you literally are paralyzed. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to think or what's going on. And fawn actually is where you have the tendency to appease. You may be a people pleaser. So instead of feeling the discomfort or the rejection, you actually want to make it right or become friends, right? You want to make the situation a little bit more agreeable. I got some fight. I got some fight. Lots of fighters in here. You guys are violent. I've never had a physical fight, but I think it's hilarious. Yes, Carla, fawn. I'm actually surprised that fawn doesn't come up. I normally always hear fight, flight, freeze, but a lot of women tend to do the fawn. So I thought it was pretty important to add here. Afterwards, definitely go look into it so you can see all of the characteristics and actions that normally pop up under that response. All right, so today we're not going to do any of this. We are not going to fight. We're not going to run away. We are not even going to fawn. This is not the time or the place. This is the time for you to relax, to release, and for you to gain a new perspective and clarity so you can move forward and create more of the things that you want in your life and less of the things that you don't. So we were talking a little bit earlier about our haunts, right? So we had the self-doubt, the overwhelm, the fear, the complacency. You may also interchange that with feeling stuck. And we have uncertainty and or confusion, I like to say, right? So the reason why I'm giving you alternative forms of the word is because all of these are really just emotions if you haven't noticed that already, right? And so emotions are the only reason why we as beings do or don't do anything in our entire lives. Is because of how we feel about the thing. So if you think about it this way, your feelings or your emotions are just vibrations in your body. And that vibration may feel positive or negative to you. It does not necessarily mean that the emotion that you're having actually is, but it's the interpretation that your body is having. And so I like to think of emotions as little messengers, right? Something happens in your life that you normally experience through one of your 5 senses. You see it, you hear it, you smell it, you taste it, you touch it, and you have a thought about this experience. And that thought then sends that frequency and vibration through your body, which is the emotion. And so that emotion, depending on how you interpret it, then basically tells you what you're going to do next. Let me close out this box. And so with that being said, showing you how all of these things start to react, it's almost like a domino effect. We can almost assume that if we are able to control or process, analyze, change our thoughts, we may be able to change our experiences when we're feeling or experiencing something that does not serve us or does not create the results that we actually want in our life. And so when we're talking about something that actually haunts us in the context of, is this thing getting in the way so much that I have not been able to create a result that I really, really want because of it? So is doubt getting in your way? Is overwhelm, confusion? And the difference between just having a thought, because thoughts are perfectly fine. We have thoughts all day long, thousands of them, actually. The difference between a regular thought and one that we inhabit frequently, that we visit frequently, based on our definition of a haunt, is that the ones we visit frequently and a habit actually becomes a belief. And beliefs are the foundation of how we build our identity and how we navigate the world. And so if you are constantly visiting an emotion and you inhabit that emotion and you go about your day thinking that it's true, multiple days, multiple years, and taking actions with the belief that it is true, then you will create the results that reflect that belief. So, which haunt resonates with you the most? We have self-doubt, which is where you're questioning your abilities, your decision-making. And a lot of people refer to this as imposter syndrome, right? Or you may feel like a fraud. I want to kind of draw that connection to how we start to embody some of these emotions as our identity. We make them mean something about us, as opposed to it's just an experience that we're having momentarily. Or you may be experiencing overwhelm. So you're constantly doing all the things. You have a ton of multiple responsibilities. You never say no, or you find yourself unable to focus or be too organized. So you might say you're a very busy person, or you might refer to yourself as an unorganized person. You may experience a lot of fear when you have new opportunities or you're venturing into a new world, right? So that may lead to hesitancy or apprehension. And you may have thoughts about that as well. You may think that you may not be that. Someone actually said to me the other day, I used to say that I help powerhouse women to clear their clutter. And someone anonymously, I had an open coaching box on my Instagram, and they said, what if I don't feel like a powerhouse woman? And so now I stopped saying powerhouse women. I just say women, right? Because all of these things have nuances, and just because of the thoughts in our head, we make them mean something. We make them mean something has gone wrong, that we're not capable, that we did it wrong, and it will never be right. So complacency. You don't really want to rock the boat. You may say you're a more conservative person. You're playing it safe, right? Or uncertainty and confusion. You never know how to do X, Y, Z, or you don't know what to do. So we have all of the haunts on the screen now. Vote which one is currently resonating with you right now. When you think about what you want in your life that you have yet to accomplish, that the reason why you're here at this workshop, which one do you think is holding you back? And if you are unable to, I had some people join after the instructions. If you're unable to join the event, you can put your comment down in the comment box with your response. I have some self-doubt, some overwhelm, AND, self-doubt and feeling stuck, mostly stuck or complacent. Somebody said all of them. And that's okay, right? That's perfectly fine. Nothing has gone wrong, right? We are all experiencing all of these or one of these constantly, perpetually in our lives because we are having changing experiences all the time. Even if we don't want to, even if you're the person where you're like, listen, I'm really trying to play it safe. I don't want things to change. I like it where it is. The world around you is changing. And so there are just some things that you're going to experience that you cannot help. And it's going to trigger an emotion. It's going to trigger one of these haunts. So all of these are happening and it's perfectly fine. You are never not going to be growing and developing. I feel them all the time, got better with dealing with them and overcoming them as well. Exactly. And that's really what it's all about, right? Typically, we are educated in typically we are educated to learn technicality, right? We go to school and we learn all about the history and the arithmetic and all the things, right? However, we don't learn how to actually just be humans. And we don't learn anything about the human experience. We don't learn that we have thoughts. And we don't learn how those thoughts affect us. We don't learn how to respond to our thoughts and our emotions, how to process them. And many of us go through life without ever gaining those tools and that perspective. And so it's perfectly fine if you're experiencing all the things. So that's why you're here, because now you can actually have the tools in order to be able to move through them, not get over them, right? Not bulldoze over them or run from them, but to actually move through them and create more intentional results in your life instead of the result that you don't want. I'm a Cancer. This all sucks. So we're feeling all the emotions. I feel that. So typically this is what's happening. Let me stop sharing here. All right. I love me a good stick figure, y'all. And I create all my systems and drawings from scratch. Yes, laugh. It's okay. But there was nothing, no technology that can get this the way that I wanted it to kind of look visually, right? So this is typically where people come to me or my clients come to me when they are experiencing self-doubt or overwhelm or fear of the unknown or feeling stuck or having some confusion, okay? They are doubting their decisions. They think there's a right or a wrong way to do things. And because of that, they are very critical of themselves. They are, I call it my back talk, right? Like negative Nancy in the back of my voice. Like sometimes I just have to be quiet. It happens to the best of us, okay? And then because of that, they also have trust issues in their relationships. Because if you are constantly doubting yourself, how could you possibly believe anyone else? Think about that. If you think that you're a fraud or you're an imposter, if anyone compliments you, criticizes you, whatever experience that you're having that's coming from the physical world, you are always going to be second guessing that as well, leading to distrust in your personal and your professional relationships. Okay. If they are overwhelmed, they are doing all the things, right? So their mind's always racing. They're late, forgetting. And because they're forgetting and because they're late and because their mind is never present, that leads to a decline in their performance. And when I mean performance, I'm not necessarily just talking about work. I'm talking about whatever setting or role where you're showing up at that current moment in your life, where you may want to be fully present and fully aware and fully expressive, right? Or expansive. And because you are unable to stop or be clear or organize, it creates some inefficiency. Or we may feel if they're feeling like they're haunted by complacency, they're stuck in the roles that they hate, jobs, relationships that don't serve them. They have lots of fear, guilt, and shame because they think that the things that they do want that they don't have, or that desire to have them, is wrong. Because society said that you could do X, Y, and Z. And this is the way that you do it. And this is the way that you have to be. And this is the job that you have to have. And this is what your family is supposed to look like. And this is what your likes and dislikes are supposed to look like. And this is how much money you're supposed to make. This is how you're supposed to talk, walk, think, look, all the things. And so they have a lot of fear and shame around their goals and their desires, and constantly seeking validation because of that. Am I doing it right? Saying yes to everything, no boundaries, because you don't want someone to think that you're a bad mom or a bad business owner or a bad friend, a bad wife. I am the queen of no. I think that, I don't know where I got this from. And I guess it's because I had to build resiliency at a very young age, because my mom was not nice. Like, I lived in a world of constant criticism, and because I guess my response has always automatically been a fight response, I automatically built resiliency. And so I say no to everything. I do not do anything that I don't want to do. All right. They may be experiencing lots of confusion because they're not sure what they want to do, even if they had the resources to do it, right? Or frustrated with monotony. That's that complacency where we're doing the same things day in and day out. However, that day in and day out still seems very regular. I actually get a lot of clients like that. My clients are checked all the boxes, right? They have accomplished some very amazing things in their life, and they're like, wait, is this all there is to life? I want to have grand, amazing, extraordinary experiences, but I don't feel that way, even though I've done all the things they told me to do. And finally, they feel like or think that they need more money, more time. These little stick figures are terrible down here. More support, like someone else to do something in order for them to feel okay, or for them to create the results that they want in their life. And they don't know how to create more time, money, or the validation that they need. And so this is where they are. And these are the results they're creating, but this is not exactly where they want to be, right? You actually want to be in a place where you do have more time, money, and energy to do the things that you actually want to do. Not necessarily all the things, right? And to have more extraordinary and not just ordinary experiences. So, okay, this is good, but what if I want to have a mind-blowing life? Like, what if I really want to feel like I've lived my life? They want to feel more connected to themselves and to the people that matter to them. They also don't want to care about what other people think so much, right? I don't think we'll ever be in a place where we never, ever care what other people think without being able to process that and intentionally choosing that. But to be able to do that less is pretty amazing. They want to stop second guessing themselves. They want to move forward and accomplish their goals and do things that feel really challenging and impossible fully, with no hesitation. And they want to feel confident and they want to feel powerful, even when things are happening around them, right? So these aren't necessarily, I have to feel great emotions. These are, I feel capable emotions. And they want to enjoy and feel fully present in their lives. And so this is what I actually normally take my clients through. Now, everyone has their own adventure and may have more of these skill sets than the other, or have already started to implement some of these things. Like someone was saying, listen, I learned how to process my emotions, right? So we don't need to start there with that person. But this is typically the steps that I would take someone through that is where they are and it's not where they want to be, right? So first, I teach them how to make decisions ahead of time. What exactly do you want more of in your life and less of in your life? And when you make decisions ahead of time, that allows for you to stand in those decisions down the line. Typically, we are having a trauma response or a subconscious response because we haven't made decisions. We haven't decided it's actually what we want and fully committed to that. And so you have to start to have a radical commitment to the things that you want in your life. Because if you don't have a radical commitment, then who else is going to have that type of commitment for you? No one else is going to go out of their way to make the things that you want in your life happen. And then we detox and declutter. The name of this event is Detoxing and Decluttering from the Inside Out. It's one of the biggest modalities that I use because we are having an internal experience at the same time we're having an external experience. I explained this earlier. We are sentient beings living in a physical world. Everything that you experience that triggers your thoughts and your emotions is tangible. It comes through your 5 senses. And so you need to be working on aligning both your inner world and your outer world at the same time to support you towards your goals. And we detox and we declutter to create space. Because right now, if you don't have the results that you want in your life, that means there's something occupying that space that does not belong there. There's something occupying that space that doesn't serve you towards your goals. And so we create space for it. We transition self-doubt into confidence. Or we get rid of things that just don't belong there completely, right? Whether or not this is beliefs and thoughts, or if this actual physical things in the spaces that you spend the most time. I teach them how to embody their results. So all of the results that you have created up until 7:52 p.m., this is Eastern Standard Time, on October 24th, 2023, are based on probability. And those are results that you don't necessarily want. You want some different results. And so they are also based on the identity that you currently have, how you currently see yourself. And there's a reason why they don't work, because you will actually have to start to think, do, be, feel based on a totally different identity, and not in a way that we're changing you as if something has gone wrong or something's wrong with you, but you're going to have to bring some other skill sets and energy to the table to create a different result, to create something that's in the land of possibility, because possibility lives where you have not been yet. If we could take the same identity with us, we will already have the result that we want in our life. And so I do this a little bit more holistically and almost neurotically. I'm going to accept that as a positive thing right now than most. We get so deep into this that we talk about this person as if at the person that you need to be, as if you are becoming a totally different alter ego, right? What does this person wear? What are they surrounded by? Where do they go? How do they spend their time? How do they make decisions? A full embodiment that you are taking into your everyday life. And they show up when it's time for you to do the thing that feels really impossible right now. I teach them how to watch their thoughts and not be their thoughts. And so typically we're having thoughts and we don't realize that they're sending us into a spiral, or we actually realize they're sending us into a spiral because we're feeling it, but we don't know what to do about it. And so I teach you how to create that awareness, to see your thoughts when you're having thoughts that actually are creating a negative experience for you, or are causing you to do things that you know aren't in line with the decisions that we made ahead of time. And right after that, feeling your emotions, feeling those negative emotions. We don't need to get over our emotions. We need to know how to handle them and respond to them. So, and when you know how to process them, you tend to create that grounded, neutral feeling that I was talking about before, instead of that very reactive feeling. It's more proactive than reactive. You're not doing your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I teach them how to honor their own truth and desires, because that's actually what's happening. We think we want a thing, and then we decide, who am I? What will other people think? That's not right, right? And so all the things that are implanted in you, you ignore or you diminish, instead of actually going out after them authentically and fully. I teach them identity-based thinking. We talked a little bit about this already, where we're not necessarily talking about a result. The result isn't I want to lose. Your result is I want to lose 20 pounds. That's result-based thinking. Identity-based thinking is you're the person that shows up in their life and make decisions to create that result. It's your identity. It's what you embody. And the last one, which most people would think would be the first one, I said it last is because this is actually probably the biggest issue that I see when I first start working with someone, is that they don't set clear goals. People from all walks of life, highly intellectual, highly ambitious, creative, whatever it is you identify as, have a lot of trouble answering the question, what do you want? I was having a consult with a woman the other day, and she was telling me that she didn't have enough time and she never wore the clothes that she wanted, and she doesn't get to travel and all these things, right? And I said, okay, so none of these are a problem. We can create time, right? We can figure out how to create some more income. What would you do if you had more time? Where would you go? And she was like, what? I have no idea. I absolutely don't have anything to do with that time. And so what happens is, if you don't actually declare what it is that you want and own it, your brain does not problem solve for it. People will tell me they want to make more money. How much money do you want to make? And they almost fear telling me the number. I don't think it's that they actually don't know the number. I think that once they say it, a totally different level of discomfort comes up. And so if you aren't clear and honest about what it is that you want, there's no way that you would be able to embody the thoughts, emotions, actions, and take the actions to create what you do want. So my question to you ladies is, what do you want? I know I listed some things about where you want to be. Let me share this again. So if we're here to get very clear, embrace some clarity, where do you want to be in your life? What do you want? What's the answer to that question? And you don't have to list all the things. Let's just list the most prominent thing right now. The one that you answered from your haunt, the one that you identified, whether or not it was self-doubt, overwhelm, confusion, and so on. Where is the place that you want to be that you're not, because you are feeling held back by one of those emotions? What do you want more of in your life? Happiness, freeness, clarity. You want to go out more. You want to experience your life. Absolutely. In control of time. What would you do with that time, Anita? So I'm getting answers in the comment box. Vacation and travel. Yes. What's in the way of you creating what you want right now? I want everyone to ponder that question. Traveling the US by RV. You want adventure. Amazing. I love that. Mindset. I'm guessing that means you want to feel better. You want to feel better. You want to feel more in control. You want to feel like you have the power to create results in your life. You want to stop second guessing yourself. Absolutely. Imagine what it would be like for you to be able to generate all the energy and confidence that you need to move forward with a decision without having to get opinions from the entire cavalry, right? Or talk yourself into all the worst case scenarios possible, right? Catastrophize, right? You can just move forward and do the thing. And that's one of the big parts of kind of why being in this type of environment, even the one that we're in here today, is super powerful and helpful to helping you reach your goals, because when we're in our own brain, we don't realize what's happening. We don't see ourselves, right? We're actually being our thoughts and not seeing our thoughts. We don't see ourselves when all of this is happening, when we are having the emotions and doing the actions that slowly or even quickly move us away from what we want. In real time, it actually feels like we're doing the right thing. In real time, it feels like we're keeping ourselves safe. We're keeping ourselves safe from the discomfort. However, when you actually start to say things out loud and make decisions out loud, declare things, own things, bounce it off of someone who also is able to reflect back to you. I don't even want to say your higher self, but your most authentic self, right? The person that is fully capable of everything that you want. Then you're having a totally different experience. Then you can see in real time, you can evaluate in real time, take action to do it better, optimize it. We do this all the time. We are constantly evaluating. I have clients that are on this call right now, and I'm probably sure they're sick of me talking about evaluations. Every time they tell me they did a thing, I ask them, did they evaluate it? What happened? What worked? What didn't work? What would you do differently? Because that evaluation keeps you out of the spiral that you're having. It keeps you out of the doubt. It keeps you out of the fear, because it's just a fact. It's just information. You're having an experience, and sometimes that experience does not go the way that you planned the first time around, or even the 50th time around. Einstein conducted 9,000 experiments. However, when you are in this constant state of embodying, evaluating, executing, you have no time for the other things, right? Because you already have set your goal. That's where that setting that clear, exceptional goal comes in. You have the end point on your map already. And now we are just backing into it. We're just reverse engineering it. And we know all of the steps and all of the things that align with that. And we also know all of the things that don't. And we will consistently take action, evaluate, and do it over and over again until we get where we want to go. So I'm going to open the floor for questions in a minute. But before I do so, I wanted to invite you, if you have not already, to move out of probability and into possibility in your life. So I offer a free consultation. It's called the Clear Your Clutter session. And we actually do this process that we went through today, 101, where we're going to talk about you specifically and what's going on with you in your life, where you actually want to be, and figure out what's getting in the way, which is what I call the clutter. And we are going to clear all of that up on the call and create your game plan to get you where you want to go. So I am going to drop the link for that into the Zoom right now. The session is completely free. And I am going to open the floor for questions. If you have questions, you can ask me in the chat or you can unmute yourself. What's stopping me? Trying to do it all at once as opposed to seeing it part by part. What do you think keeps you trying to do it all at once? Yes, let's clear all of the clutter because the clutter is in the way of all the things you actually want in your life. It literally is just a thought. There's just one thought between, what's my guy? Not really my guy, but he's like the life coach, like life coach of life coaches, Tony Robbins. Transformation is literally just a thought away. And so if everything that we're experiencing in our life is just what we perceive, that means that we have the power to also create a different interpretation and a totally different experience. Lisa Nichols. Yes. Lisa Nichols is the lady from The Secret. Nicole.
There are no coincidences, my dear.
There are no coincidences. I love it here. Yes, I love that. That's one of the thoughts in my thought bank as well. And when I first used to hear it, when I first started getting coaching and even training to be a coach, I would hear people say, life is happening for me. And I would be like, these people are so full of shit. Okay. Like, I don't know who put crack in the Kool-Aid here. It's full of it. And literally every single day now, I have that thought. And I promise you, it is never on my best days. I have that thought in the most challenging situations that I face. I'm literally like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening for me. Because the person that you become when you overcome those challenging moments is like freaking mind-blowing. Like you blow your own mind on the other side, as opposed to when you allow yourself to succumb to your fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And there's always regret. I have a peer coach that I have an accountability call with every week. And I had a consult, I was on like a networking event and did some things that I don't normally do on networking events, even though I'm a very extroverted person. And afterwards, I felt so relieved, right? And I said to her, I was like, it feels so much better for me to do the thing. And if everybody says no, or if everybody rejects it, or they think it's the worst idea ever, that's perfectly fine with me. Versus me not doing the thing and feeling the regret that comes with that. Like regret is the worst emotion for me. It's the worst place to be in. I understand. Okay. Yes, Samantha. Listen, let's talk about it. You have the link. Let's work it out. Let's see what's going on and what we can do about it, because that's actually what we're talking about here. We are experiencing circumstances, and whether or not those circumstances are awful is not what we're talking about. Like you can literally be in the worst of circumstances, right? That is true. I'm not saying that it's true or false. Sometimes it's just all fucked up, okay? However, what we're going to learn to do is figure out what it is that we can control even when all of those things are happening. So what is it that you want to, actually, I do have another slide. So instead of the feeling that you're having right now, that may not feel so great, I want you to answer in one word. Okay, no sentences, ladies. I know that some of my clients on here hear that all the time too, when I ask them to identify their feelings or their emotions. I want you to put in one word. You can put up to 3, but not in a sentence. 3 separate words. Instead of feeling doubt or overwhelm or fear or stuck or confusion, how would you like to feel instead in your life? When you think about the goals that you have in the life that you want to live, what you want to experience in your life, how would you like that to feel for you? My favorite emotion right now, and I probably just made it up. I'm sure it's not an emotion. I just changed it into the form of speech that sounds like an emotion, is luxurious. That's the energy that I like to default to right now, especially when I'm coming into even situations like this, right? Preparing for this workshop. I told you I had a day today. I mean, I went to I had a consult, a design consult this morning. And when I came out, my car was gone. And all day, I still had my North Star in mind, because my entire day is like, I know I'm having this event. My ladies are going to show up and I need to be there to fully serve them. And so once I finally got all of the fires handled, and still feeling away after they were handled, because, you know, I got that fight response. I was ready to light everybody ablaze. I had to come back and ground myself into a different emotion. And that emotion was luxurious. I wanted to be able, and luxurious for me doesn't even mean anything. What's the word I'm looking for? It's nothing trivial, right? It's not anything materialistic. That's the word I was looking for. Luxurious to me is like this really delicious energy, like where I have so much space. Like I have so much space, I can literally encompass everyone in the space that I have and hold for them. And it's all good here. That's what luxurious means to me. And it even feels delicious with me saying that. Like I can literally feel that vibration in my stomach right now, like exuding out of me. And that's how you want to be able to feel your emotions. That's how you want to be able to transfer and transition into emotions and feelings and thoughts that help you do whatever it is that you need to do to create more of what you want in your life, to continue doing the things that are working in your life, to finally say no to the shit that's in the way. Ladies, did you give me words? I only have 2 words, and someone put what they want to feel and what they don't want to feel. So instead of fear, they want to feel confidence. Okay, I'll take it. Very good. Accomplished, free. I love those words. Happy, free, complete. Expression, love. Yes, I love expression. That's probably my biggest thing. My favorite word is like unapologetic. I love you too, girl. But unapologetic is hard. It was so hard coming to the point where you don't care about what people think. A lot of you talked about like business and career. That's one of the biggest places where we feel a lot of that pressure from the outside. Motivated. Oh, I love light. I love light. That's beautiful. Trusting. Trusting of who? What if you could feel all of these emotions right now? And that's what I mean when we talked about the embodiment, right? All of these emotions that you actually want to feel, the experience that you want to have is available to you right now. We just only think that it's not. Confidence, love, financial freedom. I want to be complete. Trusting of myself and others. I'm not sure if I shared this with you before, Sarah, but I'm pulling another thought from my thought bank, y'all. Don't think that I'm actually not telling the truth either. I really have a list of thoughts that I collect. You should do this too. Thoughts that really work for me, that get me through, I write them down. I have multiple pages of thoughts, okay? They just go on and on. So one of my thoughts of trusting myself in that process of what we talked about, in the making decisions ahead of time, that's the first part of this process of trusting yourself. And then following through on those decisions, right? So every day, making sure that you fill your time, making sure you fill your life with those decisions, that commitment, right? And then my favorite thought is, because I made those decisions ahead of time and I'm so decided and so committed to what I want, that I bring the certainty to every uncertain situation. I literally bring complete certainty, because I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to think. I know what I want to feel. Even when everyone else may be uncertain, everyone else may be doing the wrong thing, okay? Quote unquote. They might be acting up, but I bring my own certainty to the situation. And if I bring the certainty, that allows for me to trust everything. I trust that everything's happening for me. I trust that whatever it is that I declare is going to work out. I trust that everything else will fall in line. And by in line, I don't necessarily mean that those people have to agree with me. I mean that it will fall where it may, and I'm still going to end up on the other side of what I committed to. Yes, journaling is the best. I hear good things about journaling. I guess I do kind of journal in a way. I don't like journal like we used to. And maybe, let me not say it like that, because you may journal this way, but I don't journal like I'm telling myself a story or a recap of what happened, but I do kind of immediately download. That's what it's called. I download and then I analyze, right? So I download and I kind of ask myself, is this true or not true? And that is very helpful. All right, ladies, you guys are quiet, and I understand you guys are definitely popping in the chat though, but I understand that no cameras are on and no one is off of mute because it's 8:18 p.m. We are over time, and I am putting the link for you to book your consult in the chat again. I will see you on that consult where we're creating your exceptional life and all the things you want. Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. I hope this was very valuable to you. Kisses, XOXO. And take care. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's excellent.
Thank you, lady. I like when you guys attend because I can get direct feedback.
You got it.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go schedule because I didn't.
Okay. See you soon.
All right. Stay well.
Sarah, you have a question for me? Crystal, you have a question for me? Thank you so much for coming, ladies.